Next up, he's already on stage. I'd like to introduce Ryan Spencer. You may remember him from such presentations as visual regression testing with Percy and Dear React, please, dear God, render my list faster. Ryan has been focused on React since class components were cool. So he's been around React. Ryan lives in a trailer and he enjoys traveling the country to find the best ice cream shops. He is currently heading west along the Gulf and is hoping his timing works out just right to see the first Starship
Right.
launch.
Hello, fellow humans. Uh, I have, along with my co-author David Nicholas, written a little book that is nowhere near as long as the mock-up that's on the screen right now, but that's okay. It's still quite good, and it's for anyone who needs to interact with React devs. Uh, you see, the co-author David Nicholas, he was fielding a bunch of questions from a product owner he was working with, and he came to me and he said, like, we're getting the same questions. Like, you get these questions, I get these questions. Wouldn't it be great if we had something to help people who need to talk to us, something that, a guide for them, so that they don't even know what questions to ask sometimes. So that's what we did. We wrote the React Survival Guide. It is not a real novel. It probably won't be on the New York Times bestseller list, but I think it is quite helpful. Uh, at the end here, I will provide you a link. Now, today I am not going to talk about the entire book. I'm going to pick a small little section, which is search engine optimization and social sharing. So let's get started. SEO is huge. I'm not here to tell you about how SEO works. I wouldn't even call myself an SEO expert. But there's some things uh, that we as React devs need to know. There's certain SEO topics that tend to get surfaced at the end of the project instead of at the beginning, and it's much easier to tackle these things right up front so that your React devs can pick the right tooling, pick the right frameworks. We can create the right workflow, and that means that we pick the right tools, and so it is cheaper, right? It's a lot harder and more expensive to add these things at the end of the project, and adding things at the end of the project often causes delays. So um, let's talk about SEO. Let's talk about social media sharing, but just kind of on a surface level, so that way when you approach a new project, you know what you need to be talking with your devs about. Um, so the first question you need to ask yourself is, do I care? You see, adding these SEO things to your project, adding these social sharing things to your project, they cost time, right? Your developers have to implement them and they have to think about them and talk about them, and so they have a cost. Nothing is free. So before you go down this deep dark tunnel and get yourself stuck into paying for these things, do you really need them? If you need to be able to share your website onto Instagram, or you want it to look cool when you share it in Slack, then yes, you do. If you need to be found in Google, found in Bing, then yes, these are important things. If your content is shareable in any way, this matters. Now, if your site is behind a login, right, just like Google Drive, right? I can't go into your Google Drive and see your documents. Well, the search engine bots can't do that either. So that kind of stuff, maybe an insurance project for insurance agents that they have to manage claims, like that stuff is behind a login. So in those situations, you don't have to worry about it, and you can stop listening to the rest of the presentation. But if you're in the first column, let's keep talking. So first off is the domain name and the URL structure. It's a good idea to pick words that are search engine friendly. Now, I'm not the SEO expert. I can't tell you whether or not this is going to make a difference in getting found in search engines, but I did read a Google article once that said it mattered. So I know that SEO people are going to come to me and say, I want these specific words in the URL. Maybe you're searching for a Sasquatch chilling on a beach. Well, if you get those words into the URL, it's more likely to pop up. I need to know that ahead of time when I'm building your project. Setting up the way the URL works is pretty easy, but if I don't know right from the beginning, well, it's going to cost a lot of money to come back and do it later. So make sure you have those things thought out ahead of time. They're easy to do. So let's have that conversation early. Now, meta tags. These things allow you to add a title and description to your page, add images to your page, so that way when Google pops up and gives the listing, and that top image there, expert React consulting dash Batovi, that was in a meta tag. That's where Google got that from. And the description underneath may have been in a meta tag. Sometimes Google will grab specific paragraphs that it thinks are more relevant. But that's where that information often comes from. And then the lower image, I believe, came from Slack. And we were able to add a meta tag that had a specific image we wanted to use. And then again, the title and description pop up. So these things are not native to React. I mean, they're just HTML things and React can handle them and it's not a big deal, but they're just not automatically updated. We have to manually do that. Um, so setting that up ahead of time and creating a good workflow uh, right in the beginning will help the process move much smoother. Adding all these tags at the end is quite a struggle. Now, React by kind of default, it gets the page loads with a sort of default title and description, and then you get this JavaScript that comes down to the browser, and then it builds something new. And that's how React works. So sometimes having that all there ahead of time is better because your title in a client side rendered project might end up looking the same on every page. There are frameworks that provide better tooling, such as Next.js and Remix, where meta tags are kind of a first class citizen and it's right in front of you and it's very easy to add. And those meta tags arrive on the page before anything else. Now, page speed. I've heard various arguments about whether page speed matters. And again, I'm not the SEO person, so it's up to you to decide whether or not page speed matters. But it certainly seems like as a user, I want my page to load as fast as possible. Now, previously, I said that React kind of loads a base page and then the JavaScript comes down and then it rebuilds the page. Well, that can take some time. There are systems like, again, Remix and Next.js that will render the whole page onto the server, do all the work there, and then send it down to the client. So your very first page, your very first load can be quite a bit faster. Now, once the page is loaded, the second page is going to load about the same speed either way, so it doesn't make a huge difference there. But if you need really quick page load times, using one of those frameworks is going to provide you with that better performance that you're looking for. Again, it has some cost to it, so you have to determine if it matters. If we go back to the idea of an insurance application that call center workers are using all day long, they're going to load the page once and then it's going to be there open the rest of the day. So that little bit of extra, couple of seconds at the beginning of their day isn't going to matter much. But if you are a blog and many of your users are only seeing one or two pages, every second counts. And if we're an e-commerce site, those quick load times can make the difference in very, very large amounts of revenue. So uh, again, picking a good framework up front makes a big difference. Now, before you jump into your next React project, let's kind of summarize those pieces that we need. We want to talk about our URL structure, have that well defined, talk about what kind of meta tags we need. Are we sharing on social? Which social? Is it going to be Instagram? Is it going to be Facebook? We want to lay all those out for our developers. And finally, how important is page speed? Is this our top priority, or is this kind of an afterthought? And all of these things have costs, and defining them up front will keep those costs down. So that's about it for today. I will leave you with the link to the survival guide. We'll post that in Discord in just a moment. And it has a lot of other topics that people should find interesting. Uh, JavaScript versus TypeScript, error monitoring, how to scale up. So download yours today, and we will see you on Discord. Thank you very much.